Okay, let's talk about AI governance. Now, I know when you hear that, you probably think of compliance checklists, right? Boring stuff. But what if I told you there's a huge hidden problem in how we measure AI success? A flaw that might be costing your business a ton of money, like right now. We're going to dig into that today. Let's get started.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Is your AI statistically right, but totally wrong for your business? I mean, think about it. What happens when your models are hitting every single accuracy target, looking perfect on paper, but in the real world, they're making terrible calls? It sounds like a contradiction, right? But believe me, it happens way more often than you'd think.
Okay, to really get what I'm talking about, let me tell you a quick story. Picture this. A retail company's AI recommends a massive 40% discount on all winter coats. It's March. Now, statistically, looking at all the historical data, this was the perfect move to maximize revenue. The AI was technically correct, but it was missing the bigger picture, the crucial context. Turns out, an unusually cold spring was in the forecast, and the company's inventory was already running low. So that correct decision, it would have been a disaster. We're talking stockouts, furious customers, a huge missed opportunity.
And here's the kicker. That winter coat story, it's not some rare exception. No way. When researchers looked at 47 different business scenarios, they found something that honestly is pretty staggering. 31%. That's how often a statistically accurate AI decision was actually the wrong call for the business in that specific context. Think about that. Nearly 1/3 of your correct AI decisions could be flat-out mistakes.
So this really gets to the heart of it all. This is the hidden problem we're talking about today. See, the issue isn't really that our AI is bad. It's that our governance is failing the AI. We're measuring the wrong thing. We're completely obsessed with statistical accuracy when what really, truly matters is business context.
All right, so what's the fix? Well, it's a completely different way of thinking, and it's called AI contextual governance. Now, please don't picture some dusty old rulebook. That's not it at all. Instead, think of it like a living, breathing system, a smart, adaptive system where the rules themselves are constantly changing and adjusting in real time based on what's happening in your business and in the market, literally right now.
And when you put them side by side, the difference is it's night and day. On one hand, you've got static governance, the old way, the same rigid rules for every single situation. Maybe you look at them once a year if you're lucky. It's a cost center, right? Its only job is to stop bad things from happening. But then you have contextual governance. It adapts constantly. And here's the big shift. It's not a cost center. It's a revenue enabler. It's actively working to make your AI perform better.
And what does that mean in the real world? Well, the impact on your company's agility is just massive. Take a manufacturing company, for example. To adjust their old static rules for a new product line, it took them 6 to 8 weeks. With a contextual approach, they were adapted and optimized in just 11 days. In the kind of market we're in today, that's not a small difference. That's the difference between leading the pack and being left in the dust.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. How does this actually work? I mean, how can a system be that smart, that adaptive? Well, let's pop the hood and take a look at the engine that makes this whole thing run. Probably the best way to wrap your head around this is to think of it like a biological feedback system. Seriously, your body doesn't just have one fixed set of rules, right? It adapts, it learns from experience, and that's exactly what this does for your business. It's not about rigid control, it's all about learning and evolving with every single decision. And the whole thing really boils down to 3 simple but super powerful steps. It's a cycle. First, the system has to sense what's going on, the real-time business context. Then, based on everything it's sensing, it makes a decision using dynamic, flexible rules. And finally, and this is the absolute game changer, it learns from the outcome of that decision so it gets smarter for the next one. Sense, decide, learn. Simple as that. So when we say it senses things, what are we actually talking about? Well, it's pulling in a constant stream of real-time data from all corners of your business. We're talking about market conditions changing minute by minute, what your operational state is, new risk indicators popping up, how your customers are behaving right now, and even things like resource constraints. It's building this incredibly rich, up-to-the-second picture of reality before it makes any move. All right, let's look at that learn step in the wild. A financial services firm turned this on. Now, in month 1, the system was, cautious. It was the new kid on the block. So it flagged 70% of transactions to be checked by a human. It was basically saying, hey, I'm still learning what's really risky here, so I need some help.
But then, fast forward just 6 months. After learning from thousands and thousands of real-world outcomes, the system got so much smarter. It could finally tell the difference between a real risk and just, normal business noise. And the result? The number of transactions needing a human to look at them plummeted from 70% all the way down to 41%. That is a huge efficiency gain, and it's all because the governance system itself was learning. Okay, so we've seen the engine. We know it senses, decides, and learns. But what's the bottom line? What's the real, tangible business impact? Let's talk about what happens when you make this shift, when you go from a dumb safety net to a system that's actively getting smarter every day.
Hey, remember that scary 31% number I threw at you at the beginning? Well, that retail company with the winter coats, they put this exact system in place. And check this out. Their rate of contextually wrong decisions didn't just go down. It plummeted from 31% all the way down to just 4%. That's not a minor adjustment, folks. That is a fundamental game-changing improvement in the quality of every single decision that AI is making.
And this is really the big idea I want you to walk away with. We're not just talking about controlling AI anymore. That's old thinking. This is about building a business evolution engine. It's a system where every single decision, every transaction becomes a lesson that makes your entire organization smarter and more adaptive. Just look at how this plays out over time. This is from a lending company. Over 18 months, as their governance engine learned and evolved, look what happened. Their approval rate went up. At the same time, their default rate went down. And on top of all that, they slashed their processing time. Every single key metric improved at the same time. That's the power of a system that is constantly learning how to make better, faster, and safer decisions. So this really brings us to the big payoff. The final takeaway here is that we have to completely change how we think about AI governance. It's not a chore. It's not about just managing risk or checking off a compliance box. It's about building a powerful, strategic advantage that your competitors can't easily copy. So I'm going to leave you with this one last question to think about. Look at your own company. Is your AI governance just a safety net? Something passive, just sitting there, designed to catch failures after they happen? Or is it your company's evolution engine, an active learning system that is constantly pushing your business forward? Because in the age of AI, the difference between those two, well, it isn't just a minor detail. It might just be everything.